That leads us to our chart of the day. Thank you for the animation there, because it's Micron, which is up near 7%. Kristina Partsinevelos is on the set with us at Post 9 to tell us what's going on here on the back of earnings.
Big beat, guidance is up, gross margins improved, which is what the street wanted. But I want our audience to know that all of that has to do with the selling price climbing higher. And this is really a volumes game. Volume is low for a lot of these chips, and that's what's driving this stock forward, not necessarily demand. And I say that because even on the call, and we have a quote for it, management warned that they don't expect volume growth to increase in Q2 or Q3 of next year. Reasons for that is that producers have been cutting back to get through excess supply. But the other major issue is when you switch to a regular memory chip to a more advanced one, it's way more complicated. You take a larger wafer, use a lot more of the equipment, and so that takes much longer to go to market. That increased their CapEx cost, but it also means a little bit less supply. So that played into this role. And it made me think, this is great for fiscal 2024, why you're seeing so many price hikes across the board, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, the list continues. We can even show that as well. But what about fiscal 2025 when all of this is riding on AI and AI saving the day for these high bandwidth memory chips?
You own the stock, right?
Yeah, it's a top 10 name of ours. I love this name, and this is a classic super cycle in memory here. Now, one thing I really do like, going back to last year, the Micron CEO, when he speaks, people listen. He was talking about it last year, but it's going to be a tough year. It's going into this new one, and he hopes that his peers bring down their estimations. They did theirs last year, middle of the year, and the stock took it pretty hard. Now, it's been able to recover very well out of this. The fact that he's upbeat, I think there's a good tailwind. Speaking of 2025, I mean, their revenue in their net income is going to accelerate. I think $6.6 billion in 2025. This is. I like this name. I like memory. He talked about last quarter was the trough. I think this stock's going to be. I heard Kramer say it earlier today. $100 stock. If we hold above yesterday's low, that's the line in the sand. I want to own this thing, and that's my stop.
Yeah, I think we're right around the highs of the day now, about 7%. The gain from Micron.
Yeah, and it's going to stay like that for quite some time because of this AI play. They even use the Midas touch of NVIDIA, saying that NVIDIA is qualifying them.
When in doubt.
I know.
When in doubt.
Oracle, Adobe, everybody
NVIDIA.
just name drops NVIDIA, and then you see the stock climb higher. But they said they're in the final stages of qualifying their high bandwidth memory chips for the H200, a new chip coming out next year, which is a good sign. But even that won't be about 12 to 14 months to come to market.
Yeah, so we mentioned that the space has done well. You don't own this name. I mean, you own others. What do you think here about what's been an incredible move for the chips?
Well, it's been an incredible move, both in the size of the move, but also the breadth of it, right? We're no longer just talking about NVIDIA and Broadcom. And at least in part, that's predicated on the belief that end markets outside of AI are picking up. Internet of Things, PCs, mobile phones, automotive, and all that sort of stuff. Now, Kristina, I just heard you throwing a little bit of maybe healthy cold water on that, saying, hey, it's price, not volume.
Yeah.
But you can't raise price, right, unless there's actually end-user demand. Or let me rephrase this, and I'm asking you the question, because I'm bullish, both on AI but outside of AI. And at the very least, these markets like mobile and PCs look like they've bottomed. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. So that is another factor. You're seeing strength. They even said that they see low to mid-single-digit growth specifically for PCs. The smartphone market's continuing. Data centers, though, you had the CEO say that it still remains elevated, and it'll take maybe till mid-fiscal 2024 to come down. So to your point, yes, those two markets are playing a role, but that's a lower selling price than all of this high bandwidth memory. So is that going to be the trend that's going to really propel them forward and justify these $100 price targets? It
may explain why these stocks, such as a Qualcomm or an NXP, are quite a bit cheaper than, say, an NVIDIA, just as an example, or an AMD.
Yeah,
what you just said, yeah.
To that point with NVIDIA, if we're throwing around 2025, 2026 numbers, with the estimates that NVIDIA has out there for 2026, it's a multiple of 22, a PE of 22. Now, I mean, you got these hyperscalers like Microsoft and Alphabet, and they're monetizing AI quicker than expected, which is going to be more GPU demand, more demand from NVIDIA and their H200 in the next year. Yeah, it's going to be coming off the shelves, flying off.
Thank you for being here. That's Kristina Partsinevelos.